Hello guys, I'm Gökhan and this is Late Night Stocks. In this video, I'm gonna do an update about Moderna, BioNTech and Novavax again. Earnings are coming. Pfizer, Moderna and Novavax will announce their earnings this week. Pfizer earnings will give a hint about BioNTech earnings. mRNA stocks were flat despite the good news. It's better to say we are going nowhere. As one of my favorite songs, Is the Thrill Gone? It's hard to say. The corona cases are rising in the world and some countries are heading lockdown again. I told you that the winter was coming. The situation wasn't a surprise for the scientists and vaccine makers, but how about the Wall Street? They pushed these stocks to the moon in the mid of summer because of Delta variant and sold them like no tomorrow. Our channel, Late Night Stocks, has a good track record on vaccine stocks. If you didn't watch our videos previously, please check the vaccine stocks playlist. We were always bullish about these stocks and our predictions were very accurate. Moderna almost hit $500 after a couple of weeks and got a sell-off after our party over video. By the way, we have a late night stocks portfolio and you can check the comparisons of different companies in the same industries. You can get access on Patreon and find the link down below the video. Last week, we made a poll to figure out what our subscribers are thinking about these vaccine stocks. The results shows that BioNTech is the favorite among them. You can also vote it in our community tab. Before we start, please thumbs up. By the way, subscribing to our channel is recommended and free. Maybe you have already realized the vaccine stocks closed in red on Fridays for a month. Some investors don't want to hold their shares on the weekend. As you see from the chart, the stock price was flat and despite low volume on Friday, the stock price didn't drop too much. The average volume is huge and about 60 million shares per day. In other words, $6 billion changes hand. Let's start with the latest news. Moderna provides an update on timing of US emergency use authorization of its COVID-19 vaccine for adolescents. According to FDA, this review may not be completed before next year. This is not a great news for the investors. It is estimated that over 1.5 million adolescents have received the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine and the database doesn't suggest an increased risk of myocarditis in this population. I read similar myocarditis news this year maybe more than 100 times and this topic still needs to be cleared. I don't think that Moderna will fail to get the authorization. Its dosage is high in comparison to the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, that's why it has more side effects. Of course, this is my reasoning and every concern should be investigated. A couple of days ago, Moderna announced additional supply for Q2 2022 of vaccine for COVAX facility. The company to supply up 116.5 million doses of its COVID-19 vaccine to be delivered in Q2 2022. These vaccines are sold at non-profit price, but will cover some of the management costs. On the other hand, some analysts are yelling about the low revenues of Moderna in comparison to other pharma giants. These revenues will decrease the price-to-sales ratio of Moderna and eventually increase the stock price. Another good news is from Europe Medicines Agency. The committee recommends booster dose of Moderna COVID-19 vaccine in the European Union. The recommendation granted for individuals 18 years of age and older. The booster market is huge and the mRNA vaccine makers have the pole position. Europe is thinking about giving booster doses to everybody to fight the fourth wave. There is no vaccine shortage in developed countries and they try to end the pandemic as soon as possible. It is very likely that FDA will authorize these booster shots for everyone in next quarter. Let's see. The last news about Moderna is pipeline update. Moderna announced first participant dosed in phase 3 pivotal registration study of its mRNA CMV vaccine. The virus causes birth defects and can lead to lifelong medical conditions. This research is advanced and can take still a couple of years to get the results. Another interesting fact to biotechnology investors is that just 1/3 of drugs make it phase 3. Maybe mRNA technology can increase these numbers, but it is very early to say that. As you know, Moderna is gonna announce its earnings on Thursday. The average EPS estimation is $9 and revenue $6.23 for Q3. According to the expectations, the company will increase its earnings also in Q4. The last delay may affect the Q4 earnings, but on the other hand, there is still enough primary and booster vaccine demand in the world. I would like to mention one of the big differences between Moderna and BioNTech. Moderna announced buyback program last quarter and it will stabilize the stock price also in upcoming months. Moderna is an S&P 500 company and gets regular investments from the investment funds. This causes in general steady increase in a stock price. As you see, investment funds are still buying Moderna. When we will see an all-time high again? It is a good question. Earnings will be a big catalyst for the stock price. As you realized, most of the time, vaccine stocks are sold or bought in parallel. Seasonal patterns shows that November was a good month for the stock market and BioNTech will announce its earnings on the 9th November. We may see another rally after the BioNTech earnings. Let's have a look at BioNTech. The stock price was falling since Tuesday despite the good news. One of them was Pfizer and BioNTech received the first FDA emergency use authorization of a COVID-19 vaccine in children aged 5 through 11 years. This was an important milestone for the companies and to end the pandemic. When we look at the child population in the US, in 2019, there were over 27 million children in the US, making up 22% of their nation's population. Other countries will follow the FDA, and Pfizer-BioNTech is the only vaccine maker who got the authorization for this age group. Another good news was 50 million pediatric doses of COVID-19 vaccine ordered from the US government. It is an additional order, and let's say if they sell a dose for $15, makes $750 million in revenue. BioNTech had a very good quarter and will beat the estimates. We didn't see the vaccine rally like the last time. Maybe after the earnings, the stock price will be attractive for the big whales. BioNTech is the best bet and can exceed $400 easily if we see a bullish trend in the stock market. Novavax stock was the winner of the week. After an enormous sell-off, the stock started to increase thanks to the good news. Last week, Novavax has filed for approval of its COVID-19 vaccine in the UK, saying other global regulatory submissions would follow shortly. According to our chart, Novavax will have a price-to-sales ratio of 2 next year. The average expected revenue for the company is more than $5 billion next year. Novavax is more risky than Moderna and BioNTech but has a potential of 2-3x less than a year. You can diversify your portfolio depending on your own risk criteria. You can find additional comparisons of these companies in our late night stocks portfolio on Patreon. Please do also your own research before investing. Thank you so much for your attention and watching till the end. Please give a like and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, guys.